Well, hey, welcome to the Daily Brew. It is 7:17 this morning, and we're talking about something that may be sprinkled around Northwest Arkansas, but this is definitely new. The Momentary kicking off a whole series, a monthly electronic dance music night.
Yeah, this is so fun. So each month, internationally recognized DJs, they'll perform back-to-back sets alongside local artists as well. 5 a.m. back-to-back with Flintwick and local openers Yana and Yobi, Amtrak back-to-back with Durante.
I feel like if Danny were here, he would know.
Out.
Do you know any of these?
I feel completely lost right now.
I do think it's fun to listen to EDM, you know, dancing with friends. It's not something I listen to like normally, like that's not on my Spotify every day, right? But it is for Danny.
No, could you imagine? Because the Momentary, what a great place, right? Having that right here in our backyard, even if that's not your type of music, going to something like this, how fun would that be?
And I bet the lights will be going crazy outside.
Yeah, and
while all
is there
this
like
is going
a certain dance you do, or is it
like
just
like
jumping?
you know, I feel like it's kind of
you just groove.
I feel like it'd be embarrassing if I did it because it'd just be just be.
I see
Not
a
in
lot of
that sweater. It wouldn't be Joshua. It would be fantastic, right?
Yeah, they do kind of like a hand.
Okay,
I feel
you'll have
like
to teach me how.
a little head nod, maybe a little step.
Can we have like a country like two-stepping night? That'd be
There
fun.
we go. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I love this. And for people like Danny, who really loves this, what a great thing to have.
Well, and I think, too, just like EDM, I feel like isn't something that's like huge here in the U.S. as much. And so especially with companies like Walmart, Tyson, you know, JB Hunt, they bring in people internationally. And so this is like a little piece of home, especially having those international DJs, right? And it's kind of, I feel like, introducing that culture as well, which is really fun.
Doesn't like Paris Hilton do some of that? She DJs,
She does some
right?
of the DJing.
Can we get Paris Hilton to come?
Right? So my husband's roommate in college, he's from Spain, and he would DJ all the time and do like EDM type music. And so that's what he was around all the time. So when we went to Spain, we had to go and listen to it, right?
Yeah, I love it. All right, we got to check that out. Definitely see what that's all about, right? All right, let's also talk about Oreo. They're bringing back the holiday magic with 9 new treats.
What do we have?
Okay, here it is. Bakery Fresh Oreo muffins to confetti cake, chocolate thins, the Oreo Reese's.
Ooh, okay, I can get behind that.
That's
Okay, one thing I saw too, I think it's on here because I was seeing it all over social media yesterday. There's going to be like a cookie dough Oreo. There it is.
Oh.
So they're the golden Oreos cookie dough. I feel like that will be good. I wouldn't have expected golden Oreos though. I would have expected the chocolate Oreos with the cookie dough.
Yeah, there's a new unhealthy obsession for me, the Oreo Reese's, just because I don't know if y'all have ever tried, but I recently found those Reese's animal crackers, and those are
Wait, what?
incredibly
I bet
addictive.
they're
Reese's
delicious.
animal crackers.
Yes, and they came in a big bag, which was probably not the best for me because I really liked those, and they're now everywhere. So
I have zero self-control when it comes to sweets, especially chocolate. We have a pan of brownies at home, and I have single-handedly been eating that by myself for the last 2 days.
You know what I really love? I don't know if Nabisco makes them, but the Nutter Butters.
Oh, yum.
Oh, and they recently came out with the double stuffed Nutter Butters.
The double stuff changed the game. I think Oreo was who started that, and they really did change the game. What's your favorite Oreo like random flavor they've ever come up with? Mine's cookie butter.
The mint.
The mint.
Yeah.
Okay, chocolate mint.
Oh, that's good. The
Mine
mint.
was the
chocolate
cookie butter with the golden Oreos. That one came out when I was in college. Joshua?
I think it was just a classic Oreo for me, but if I do get my hands on a Reese's Oreo, that's probably going to end up being like the top of the charts for me.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for him.
Yummy. All right, so let's talk about this. A survey by the Pew Research Center found that if Americans could travel in time, a lot of us would want to go backwards.
This is hard. Which one would y'all rather do?
I'd take the past.
I think I would take the past too. I would love to see like my grandparents and my parents, like, you know, living their life, meeting, all of that. The future, I feel like you always think you want to see the future, but then it's like, I feel like you'd live in fear if you knew when like your last day would be, or I don't know, or maybe you make the most of it because you know when it is, right?
Yeah, and it said there most of them, you know, would want to go like 50 years or more. Why you want to go that far back, right? Just like 10 years, 5 years ago, because things can change a lot in that time frame.
Oh, no, I think I'd do the 50. I would love to see, like, you know, your parents' childhood, your grandparents. Do you get to go multiple times, or do you only have one pick?
Oh, that's a good question. I think if it were to ever happen, we would get multiple at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
so then I would go, you know, you could go 5 years ago, but then you could also go. But if you have people doing that, then people are changing the trajectory of their lives.
I think I would want to go back to the 80s and be a teenager in the 80s.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be the best time to, I kind of feel like, I don't know, because all the good things happen then.
I just feel like, and two, that was, you know, before you waited by the phone to call someone or to get a call, like, you were just so present in that moment. Like, when I hear
And
my
the fashion and the hair up to here.
when
Yes.
I hear my parents' stories, I'm like, y'all had so much fun, right?
Oh, I would love that. Where are you going? Which decade?
Probably the early 2000s, just because I was too young to figure out how cool it was back then.
It was
2000s?
cool.
Okay, for fashion and music, the 2000s,
Oh yes.
the best generation for music. Just
If there was
I
any,
think 90s for fashion.
if there was any of those like music events with like 2000s just pop, I would just be like, I would probably be there all the time.
oh yeah.
I think I needed to be just a few years older, like be a millennial, like 2012, you know, be in college.
Yeah.
I don't know.
would've been
It just
awesome.
looks fun.
The whole like alternative rock thing that grew out of the late 90s into the 2000s, that right there.
Oh, yeah.
That Joe's
rock.
going back.
That.
2000. She changed her mind. No 80s for Joe.